Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's me, Lomax, back with another video. Got some downtime and been super busy, very super busy. While I was driving earlier this morning, I had a topic on my mind, and why not share it with y'all, right? So the topic of today is be mindful of the company that you keep. I remember when I was a young man, about around, I want to say 22. I was lost, young, making very horrible decisions that nearly cost me my life. And I thank God that it never have, or never did. So the story goes like this. I remember meeting a young lady at this store that was very popular in my neighborhood. She was beautiful, Caucasian lady. I think she was mixed with Italian or something like that. Very beautiful. You know, I never talked to a Caucasian lady before. But anyway, I go in the store. Long story short, we exchanged digits, and we got to talking, getting to know each other a little bit. And one day, you know, again, I was still living with my parents at this time. One day, you know, they were arguing, and I decided to, you know, leave. I had to work in the morning, and, you know, I messaged her, and, you know, she told me that, you know, I could come over, and, you know, we could hang out or whatever the case is. And I told you, you know, I have to go to work in the morning, and I was planning on getting up around 5. You know, I was like, you know, if that's cool with you, you know, I'll come over, because I think she wanted company as well. And so I drive about a 5-minute drive. No, I want to say 10 minutes. So I drive up there. I had a nice 2015 Hyundai. It was gray. Ooh, Lord knows I don't miss that car payment. I do not. But so I pull up, and it was dark. It's at an apartment complex. I think it was 3-story apartment complex. There was a lot of apartments out there too. One way in, one way out, and that's including the apartment itself. One way in, one way out. You know, usually I have my firearm with me, but apparently this night, you know, I just left it in the car, locked it in the car. But as I got out the car, I walked through to the bottom of the whole apartment complex to go upstairs, because she stayed on the last one up top. And I run into a guy I used to go to school with. And that's another part of me telling this video as well, because when I was off nearly 2 weeks ago, 2 guys came by in the car who I grew up with, and one of them was him. You know, they saw my truck out there. I went and saw my mother and pops now, and one of them was him. And he brought up that time when he saw me, because that was the last time I saw him. He was, you know, he was drinking, and but anyway, long story short, so I see him at the bottom. You know, he was sitting there. He was like, "Hey, Lomax, man, saw you in a long time. You know, we, you know, dap up or whatnot." And, you know, I was like, "Yeah, man, it's good to see you too." You know, of course, I didn't tell him my business or whatever, but, you know, it was good to see him and all that. And, you know, I make my way upstairs and, you know, knock on the door. You know, told it was me. She let me in. And, again, fast forwarding on, it had to be what, 9 o'clock at night, maybe 10. I remember eating. She had me a meal waiting. She had me a meal waiting, and we talked and all that. Even before all this set up, she told me that her baby's father was not together anymore, and young, and I believed it, right? I believed it. Man, I tell you. So again, I end up staying the night, right? And in the middle of the night, I remember get a knock. Boom, 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 boom. Because she had a screen door. And the other apartment had a screen door as well. So I'm not a heavy sleeper. So, I peep one eye open. And I hear it again. Boom, 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 boom. And I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't think no more of it because I was just like, hey, maybe that's across the hallway with the other people who stay across next door or whatnot, across the hall. And you guys, it started getting louder. It started being boom, 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 like somebody was kicking the door, right? And that's when I shook her. I was like, hey, listen, I think it's somebody at your door. She was knocked out cold, y'all. She was knocked out cold. This is not me bragging or that, but yeah. So listen, she was knocked out cold. She wouldn't get up. I kept trying to shake her, like, yo, listen, I think somebody's at your door. And lo and behold, I hear something. Boom! Bloom, 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 bloom. And I said in my mind, I was like, I know the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Somebody kicking the door. You know what I mean? And y'all, I tell you, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was nervous, scared as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all. Very uncomfortable. I never was in a situation like this in my whole entire life. So, you guys, I'm in my drawers. I'm in my boxers, literally. And it's pitch dark in her room. Next thing you know, dude open the door. Turn on the light. And he says, BLTCH, I know you ain't such and such, sleeping with somebody and all that. And she jumped up. And after he finished talking to her, he automatically dove at me. You know what I mean? He got on the bed and just started swinging. And somehow, I'm blocking. He hit me in the back of the head. And, for the life of me, I was like, forget this. I gave him a nice left. And the guy, he was drunk. You could smell alcohol all over him, right? And she's over here just screaming, oh, stop. How do I get the heck out of my house? Get the heck out of my house and all that. And she was like, we broke up. We this and that. We broke up and all that. And you know what I'm saying? At the same time, when she's saying all that, I'm trying to, pound dude. Because, he's drunk strong. He has a lot of strength. And he's shorter than me, right? And, I'm trying to hold him down on the floor like, yo, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. This and that. She's calling the police. She said, I'm calling the police right now. Hey, I'm calling the police. Oh my God. We've been done. We've been over and all that. And, this guy, he had to come from that club. It was a club, close by those apartments. I figured he came from that area. And now you guys, let me say this. Now, as a 32-year-old man and having a little wisdom under my belt, I wouldn't be surprised if that same guy that was downstairs went and told her baby's father. There's no doubt in my mind. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I go with my gut. Knowing the things that I know now on how these things happen. Ever since then, I never put myself in that type of situation again. But anyway, back to the story. So I'm holding them there, right? And I finally let him up. You know, I guess he got tired. You know, he gave out a breath. You know, and he stood up and he said, "Oh, I'm going to get my gun. I'm gonna shoot all y'all. I'm gonna kill both of y'all." You know what I mean? And I'm just like, when he said that, you know what I mean? My heart dropped, and I said to myself, because he struck out, and I said to myself, "Damn." And I forgot my gun in the car, you know what I mean? I asked, I was like, "No, do you have protection or anything like that?" She was like, "No, no." And y'all, I tell you, you know, that guy, he could have came back with a gun. But he didn't come back. You know, the police came. He didn't come back. And my head was hurting. He had got a good blow in on me, y'all. Man, I tell you, that was very scary. And I say all this to say this, right? When I was young, lacking direction, lacking wisdom and understanding, knowing what I know now, you got to be careful what people tell you, especially if you're going to deal with them on a certain relationship level. And don't take people word just because they say they're done. That don't mean they may be done. If anything, this lady could have told me this because she was a little older than me. She could have told me, you know, my baby dad, he's crazy and all that. And of course, it was up to me. I say, I'm gonna take accountability, whether I was young or not. I put myself in that position, which is very dangerous. I could have died that night. That guy could have came back and shot me. Thank God he didn't have a gun on him, right? Y'all, this is real. This is very serious. This happens every day. You know, it happens every day. And so the police come, and we go in the living room, and at the same time, I'm just traumatized about this. I'm like, yo, like, damn, dude coming back. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time she's over there crying, and I asked her, I was like, listen, I thought you said y'all was over with, y'all was done. And she was like, you know, we are and all that. And I was like, you know, why he say that then? Why he say you know, he got a little upset, like y'all still messing around. You know what I mean? And they probably were. You know, I'm gonna go and say they probably were, because that's doing a lot. That's doing a lot. And then you got some guys out here that they just that jealous, you know, or they just, you know, mess up a situation with their baby mom, I guess, you know, all that. But anyway, y'all, that's a story that I wanted to share with y'all. And basically, you know, when the police came, y'all, I saw the door. He knocked the door off the hinges. He knocked it off the hinges, y'all. Man. And the police, I asked the police, I was like, hey, if I had my firearm and he came in like that, could I have you know, defended myself, shot him or something? And he was like, absolutely. And I look back on it, you know, thank God I didn't have my weapon, because I would have used it. I definitely would have used it without hesitation. But you guys, that's just one story of something that severe and that dangerous, to where her baby dad kicked in the door. And could have ended both of us. Thank God it didn't go down that way. Thank God I didn't have to, you know, shoot anyone or kill him out of self-defense. But this is real. And again, could it have been that I was dealing with a manipulative woman? Who knows? Who knows? Because like I said, I've had my share. And you don't really know someone, y'all. You really don't know someone. It takes a long time to get to know somebody. and what they're about and what kind of drama, you know, you just never know. Be careful and be mindful on who you go around and who you spend time with, especially young men out here who get a chance to hear this. You have a nice lady or a young lady you're talking to, you go somewhere that's more secure. Don't go to her place. If your place is safe, you go to your place. Or, you know, make a plan to get a room, to do whatever you do, you know, hang out, whatever you're going to do. In the beginning stages, don't go to each other's house unless you really, really, really get to know that person. And my problem was lack of understanding. I ain't gonna say I didn't care, but I got a feeling deep down she didn't tell me the truth about what was really going on between her and him. Because if she would have told me that he was that crazy and very jealous, I would have never even probably tried to take it there with her, let alone stay over at our place overnight. But she was so laid back, y'all. She was so laid back, very quiet, didn't really bother nobody from what I saw. And that's what happened. Like, comment, subscribe. Share your comments, share your thoughts. Share something similar or something, you know, you thought you knew a person and, you know, something terrible happened on down the line. And here, y'all, we take accountability, okay? Young or older, take accountability for what we do in life. That's how you get better. Thanks for listening. Till next time. Peace.